American YouTuber Johnny Somali rubs oil on his body and dances LDLY in front of Sonia Tung, otherwise known as Statue of Peace. His actions are particularly insulting as the statue symbolizes all women, including girls who were forced into slavery by the Japanese military during World War.
어디가? 어디가?
Somali, say something! Somali, say!
Johnny Somali apparently might be taking a really long vacation from content creation. It might be a 29-year vacation.
Somali has officially been indicted by South Korean authorities for obstruction of business.
Johnny Somali, South Korea's newest least favorite foreigner, has officially solidified his status as public enemy number 1. Let's be real, his entire career has been a masterclass in how to completely disrespect an entire country and its culture. You'd think someone would have told him that mocking Korean people and traditions would come with consequences. But hey, here he is looking down the barrel of a potential 29-year prison sentence, and before you think it could all be over for him, just remember the nightmare's only just begun. How bad could it really get for Johnny Somali in a Korean prison? Well, grab your popcorn because it's about to get wild. You see, Johnny thought he was untouchable, strutting around acting like he had the world by the tail and making the huge mistake of thinking he could disrespect an entire nation and get away with it. Plot twist, he can't, and now oh now he's facing a whole lot more than just a "oh no, I made a mistake" moment. The man is heading into what could very well be the hardest, most dangerous years of his life, not just because of the sentence but because of the little problem of having ticked off a lot of people. Let's talk about how Johnny's stellar career has led him here. It all started with him making a name for himself as a prov catcher, which in normal people speak means I'm going to walk into your country, insult your culture, make fun of your traditions, and act like a child on a sugar high, perfect way to endear yourself to people. Right, his live streams were basically a walking talking disaster, mocking elderly locals, picking fights with strangers, and ridiculing everything that made South Korea well South Korea. And if you thought that didn't make an impact, think again. It's not just a bunch of keyboard warriors who were offended, Johnny. The entire nation of South Korea started looking at you like you were a walking talking international disgrace. And yet despite all of that, Johnny thought he could flaunt his "I'm American, you can't touch me" routine like that was going to help him, as if strolling into a foreign country, disrespecting its laws, its police, and its government officials was just going to get him a free pass. Spoiler alert. It didn't. In fact, his obnoxious behavior did the exact opposite. It united the Korean people against him, and suddenly Johnny wasn't just a controversial figure, he was enemy number 1. Now he's staring down the barrel of a 29-year prison sentence, and just in case you think that's just an oopsie moment, oh no buddy, it gets a lot darker from here. So what exactly does Johnny have to look forward to in this pristine future of his? Oh, you know, just the usual joys of prison life: potential starvation, medical neglect, or maybe a little bit of accidental orchestrated violence from fellow inmates. And let's not forget, these are people who might have family ties to the culture Johnny basically spit on. So yeah, he's going to have a real fun time making friends, but hey, at least pretend they had nothing to do with it, right? As long as it's all plausible deniability, they can wash their hands of it. Doesn't sound too bad, does it? But wait, it gets even better. You thought being a foreigner would keep him safe. Not quite. See, Korean prisons are strict, yes, but they've got this little thing called social harmony. Johnny, with his delightful reputation, isn't going to be treated like your average everyday prisoner. Oh no, he's going to be a star in the world worst way possible. The other inmates, well, let's just say they might not be the biggest fans of Johnny's antics, especially since many of them have family who were personally insulted by him. No one's going to be handing him a free pass, that's for sure. Every day will be a fight for survival, but hey, who doesn't love a good survival story right now? I know what you're thinking. But Johnny's going to have the police on his side, right? Yeah, about that. No, the police aren't protecting him, they're keeping him close because they're putting together a pretty airtight case against him. As of today, Johnny's been officially criminally booked, and that's not a good sign for his "I'm just here for the pranks" defense. But sure, Johnny, you keep thinking that's going to work out for you, and let's not forget the real kicker: the guards. Now, they might not be walking around in leather jackets, but trust me, they're still human, and with Johnny's history of flipping off the culture he's now trapped in, well, let's just say he might find himself on the receiving end of some extra special treatment. Say, music. Say, hey, American live streamer who has caused an uproar in South Korea smiles without a care in the world. It's clear that Johnny's got a laundry list of legal troubles piling up faster than his cringe-worthy live streams. The cops aren't exactly throwing him a get-out-of-jail-free card. Oh no, they're digging into his every move looking for anything they can add to the pile of charges. We're talking drug use, assault, deep fakes, basically everything but being an actual professional at making a fool of himself. If he thought his reputation couldn't get any worse, he was sadly mistaken now about those charges. Just when you thought it couldn't get more humiliating, the South Korean authorities aren't just going to slap his wrist and call it a day. They want this to be an example. They're meticulous, they're thorough, and they're making sure Johnny's punishment is going to leave a lasting impression on any who even thinks about pulling the same stunt. Boy, howdy do, I have some amazing news for you today. If you haven't been keeping up with the sad, pathetic tale of Johnny Somali, let me fill you in on the lore. No loopholes, no escape routes. They're playing chess while Johnny's stuck playing checkers, and he's about to realize just how much trouble he's really in. But let's talk about the prison life, shall we? South Korean prisons aren't your typical don't drop the soap kind of setup. No. These places are organized, strict, and absolutely unforgiving, and poor Johnny, he's not going to be treated like just another prisoner who made a few bad decisions. Oh no, he's got the added joy of being a foreigner who openly mocked the entire country and its culture. Imagine being in a place where everyone around you is fuming over the fact that you insulted their history, their traditions, and their elders. It's like being the most hated kid at school, and then getting shoved into detention with the entire school watching. The worst part, it's not just the inmates he needs to worry about. Those guards, they're not exactly his fan club either. If you think they're going to give him a warm hug and a don't worry Johnny, it's all going to be fine speech, think again. His history of disrespect might just earn him the special treatment of being placed in the most hostile environments, the kind where even getting an extra pillow could be an issue his entire existence, and there could turn into a game of survival. Denied privileges, targeted for petty infractions, and God knows what else. Oh what you not touch. And let's not forget the possibility of delays in medical care or those unfortunate accidents that might just happen. Hey, when you've got a guy as notoriously hated as Johnny who's left to fend for himself in a place like that, you really can't be surprised if things start getting mysterious. Overlooked complaints, ignored injuries, and maybe even staged incidents where accidents happen just to get him out of the picture. As the months drag on, Johnny's chances of survival might not just be about physical endurance, but emotional fortitude. Spending decades in a prison that's essentially a pressure cooker for someone as hated as him will break even the most stubborn of minds. No friends, no family, just a constant reminder of the mess he made. The isolation will eat him alive. His defiance might seem strong now, but in the long haul it's going to start eating at him like termites too. He'll be stuck in a spiral of constant fear, constant retaliation, and the relentless pressure of knowing that every day might just be his last. And hey, as time passes and the international outrage dies down, that's when things could get really dark for Johnny. The scrutiny that's keeping him on people's radar now, that's going to fade, and when that happens the authorities will have free rein to do whatever they want without anyone watching. Think delayed treatment, think ignored complaints. Think, well, getting silenced in ways that would make you question whether it was all worth it. At the end of the day, Johnny Somali might have thought he was invincible, that his antics would make him some sort of internet legend, but now he's facing the consequences of acting like a complete clown. Yo, what's up guys? I'm in Korea. If y'all got any ideas for content, let me know. I'm going live today on my YouTube link in the Let's Try Not to Go to Jail this time. I want to try some of that Korean muse. 29 years in prison isn't just a number, it's a lifetime, and in Johnny's case it might just be the longest, most torturous life he's ever imagined. The reality of his situation is more chilling than anything he could have ever live streamed, so buckle up Johnny, because the show's just getting started, and it's not going to be a comedy. As Johnny is about to discover, being famous on the internet doesn't exactly shield you from the harsh realities of the real world, especially when you've made a name for yourself by trashing an entire culture. The reality of his situation isn't some bad joke or the kind of attention he can brush off with a snarky comment. This is the kind of mess that doesn't get cleaned up with a quick apology or a new livestream where he plays the victim. This is serious, and Johnny's going to learn the hard way just how far his antics can take him. And let's not overlook the psychological toll this is going to take. It's one thing to joke around and mock people online, it's another when you're literally trapped in a system that holds you accountable in ways you can't even imagine. Johnny might have thought he was playing the system, but now he's the one being played. Imagine spending years locked up surrounded by people who have no problem making it clear how they feel about you every day he spends, and there will be another day of dread with his reputation hanging over him like a dark cloud. He can run his mouth all he wants, but when the bars slam shut, all that bravado is going to look pretty pathetic. And let's not kid ourselves, Johnny's not exactly the brightest bulb in the box, and his actions have already proven that. Now he's facing the consequences, and there's no amount of online followers or internet fame that can save save him from the cold hard reality of what's coming. The legal system isn't going to cut him any slack, and the public is going to be watching every move he makes. They'll want to see just justice, and Johnny's name is already the public's memory for all the wrong reasons now. As much as we'd love to think this might be a quick and easy downfall for Johnny, the truth is that it's likely to get uglier before it gets any better. The courts may drag this out, the international attention might wane, and when it does, Johnny could find himself in a much darker place than he ever imagined. With no eyes on him, the system could just forget about him, forget about all the grandstanding he did before, and leave him to rot in the worst possible way. Imagine him spending years in an overcrowded, brutal prison with no chance of escaping the consequences of his behavior. This isn't some scripted reality show where he can get out with a few fans and a new sponsorship deal. This is real life, and there's no rewinding to a better moment.